Welcome to Popcast Deluxe. We fell in love in October of Weekly Cultural Review. I'm John Caramanica, critic at the New York Times.
I'm Joe Coscarelli. I'm a reporter at the New York Times.
And I'm Girl in Red.
That's right. That's right. Girl in Red is here. Hello.
Hello.
Pronounce your full name for us.
Marie Ulven Ringheim or just Marie Ulven?
I like when you do it in the American accent. I feel like I'm in Scum.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
Scum. Damn.
Are you a Scum head? Was that
Wow. Is that like,
was
we
that
have to
big for you?
bleep that?
I was a big fan when it first came out.
Yeah, Norwegian teen show.
Yeah.
Worldwide
2015.
phenomenon.
Everyone was like, is this real? Because like they were posting real time like text messages.
Right,
and, like,
all the characters had their own social media in the real world.
yeah,
right?
and it was like nobody really understood what was going on. It was so exciting. But that's like 10 years ago. Holy fuck.
Well, I remember. So the reason I even knew what that show was is we have a little bit of a history.
Yeah.
In 2018, the end of 2018, I flew to Oslo.
Had you ever been there before?
I'd never been to Oslo.
Yeah.
Never been to Oslo. I flew to Oslo because I'd heard some of your songs. And I said to Karen, our editor, I said to Karen, this person writes the most incredible, concise, perfectly constructed songs. She only got like 6 of them or 8 of them.
Yeah.
But like, this is the thing. And Karen, bless her, was just like, get on the plane.
Go to Scandinavia.
Go to Oslo.
Yeah.
And so I went to Oslo. We spent a couple of afternoons together, wrote a big story. And here we are 5 years later.
Here we are.
I feel like I have a lot of questions because I learned a lot during that trip.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious to know about things that you talked about then and how they've kind of manifested and evolved. But so
were
Let
you
her
on
rock.
Bandcamp or SoundCloud? Like, where did you find
this is
Girl
okay.
in
So
Red
I'm a
songs?
little embarrassed to say this. One of your songs was very, very low on a Spotify New Music Friday playlist, like a random Friday where I was like just scouring for interesting stuff. And then I found it and I was like, God damn. And then I worked backwards and I was like it's batting 1,000.
Right.
Batting 1,000.
Right.
All these songs.
Yeah.
Unreal. Can you tell me a little bit about, at that time you're in school
Yeah.
or you were just like maybe about to leave school, but you're studying music, but also making music at the same time. You know, one of the things that now it's like, look, you're coming off of a Taylor Swift tour. You have a new album coming. It's like the album's called I'm Doing It Again, Babe.
Baby.
Is that a promise or threat?
I feel like it's a promise.
Okay.
It's a promise to making a better album than the first one.
Okay, we'll come back to that idea. But none of this felt necessarily 100% guaranteed at that time.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you can take us back to then and what was your head like in terms of your relationship to songwriting and making music? Were you thinking this is absolutely my life's work? Or was it, hey, maybe this is going to be an interesting 2-year stretch and then we'll see what happens?
I don't even think I was thinking of the future. Honestly, I think I was probably just thinking about in 2018, I had been making music for like maybe 5-6 years or something. I mean, I'd always been singing and stuff, but at that time I knew I wanted to pursue music. So I went to music school, like music college for like songwriting and production and stuff. And I think that's around the time you met me.
Yeah, you had just written a paper on Max Martin.
Yeah, we met.
I remember that detail from the piece. Like, what did you
What's in the
say about?
paper?
Yeah, what's in the paper?
Did you get an
remember.
A?
I can't remember anything.
Did you get an A?
I did. But also my mom helped me a lot. Like, it was like due the next day. I had absolutely nothing. She was like, get on the fucking train and I'll help you out.
Okay.
And honestly, it's really sweet that she did that because like with all the EPs, all the first album and the new album, she's been so present with me panicking, not making words make sense. And I've always been able to call my mom and be like, hey, can I write this? Is this lyric good? She's like, no, let's change this. And then she's like she is.
She's your editor.
Yeah, basically.
She's Karen.
Yeah.
She is my number one like partner when it comes to writing something. Cause I don't know. We're just like best friends and she's my mom. So it feels very safe.
Is she a writer or a musician or she's just good at helping you?
No, she's been a in a tech consultant, like for like consultant company or something. I was about to say miserable tech consultant, but she actually just left her job. She made some big moves. You know, even though you're in your 50s, you never know what you're doing in life. So
that's
you know,
correct.
it's her first time in life as well. So got to give her some slack. But yeah, she's like amazing.
So did you think you were going to be like behind the scenes, like in a Max Martin type role, or like was your dream to work in a studio, or did you see yourself as a performer?
I just made songs because like I just felt like I had some cool ideas and I just produced them, put them out, kind of like did my thing. I don't think I ever was like, I'm gonna like launch myself as an artist necessarily. I think I just did. Like I was like, oh, this is my project. By then, like it was very much just like I had ideas and I put them out and I just was like, oh, I'll call it Girl in Red because of these and these things that happened. And I knew I wanted to pursue music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I feel like because of the opportunities that have happened and because of the coincidences of like going viral with I Want to Be Your Girlfriend on YouTube. And I feel like it's all these like coincidences. And then I've met my manager and then I was like, oh, people are coming to me now to ask for a cup of coffee. Like, do you want to meet? And I was like, I didn't even know what that meant.
Why
are people asking me out for coffee right now? Like, it's I didn't know I didn't know networking terminology at all. So I mean, I think.
And you were young.
I was very young.
Really
I was like 19,
Yeah.
18, like, and it just kind of fell into my lap, this opportunity where people were like, we think you have something special. And that was obviously after putting out multiple EPs when I was younger. And I remember I did try and send my music out to people when I was younger. So I think like I've always wanted to live off music. But then when it happened, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is my opportunity.
But you also changed because the earliest music you made before that era, you were singing not in English. You were singing
Norwegian.
Right.
Yeah.
Different. The music itself sounded different.
Much worse. But you know, it's a part of the journey.
We all have to
It's all
grow.
good.
We all have to grow. Don't read my articles from like 1997. Don't do it.
I won't.
But the change in language and the change in subject matter,
Yeah.
like in your mind, were they going hand in hand? Did you feel freedom or a different sensibility when you were singing in English that allowed access to a different set of subject matter, emotional experiences, etc.?
I think when I was making Norwegian songs, I was very much relying, like I had ideas and stuff, but I was very much relying on other people to help me out and stuff. And the English stuff started when I was like, fuck all this, I'll produce it myself.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of like the emotional maturity came from like producing things myself. And then also, I think also I kind of feel like I might have taken on a little bit of a persona. I was very heavily, I think I was very inspired by other people at a time, like Clairo and like, I don't know, other like bedroom pop artists at the time. I was like, oh my God, people are just like doing their own thing. There's a chance for me also. Like, I'll just do my own thing. And I think I kind of put on like a little bit more of like an indie persona almost. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're saying you put on a persona, but it was like stripping back, if anything, right? Like you were going to basics.
Because I remember I used to think when I started producing my songs that there wasn't a market for it. It's only trap on the radio.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, the trap hi-hat was like on every single channel, like it was everywhere. And I remember I remember thinking there wasn't a market for me. So I almost was like, oh, I don't need to put it out. But I had some friends in my class who also did music. It was like, no, put it out. So,
and you were literally a bedroom pop. I mean, like,
it started out
I
in the
remember all
bedroom.
your instruments were in one corner of your room.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It was for, you know, even in where I grew up, it was in my room. And then I moved to Oslo and it was in my room. And now, a couple years ago, I tried to go out of my room, get a studio. I never fucking went there. You know?
Really?
So now it's back home again.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Even on this album?
Yeah, on this album, it's like it's all started. All the demos are made in my apartment, and then I went to the studio. I went to on my first album with Matthias Telles again, and
all in Norway.
All in Norway. Actually, we did like, you know, I was touring quite a bit, so he came to Electric Lady.
Oh wow,
it smells so good in there. I know that
that's true.
Smells like.
Yeah.
Smells like Jack Antonoff.
Yeah, it smells like
right.
the Beatles. It smells like Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, still.
That's what I like to think. It's like he smells like Palo Santo. Like that's the thing they're burning in there. And then like some studios in Paris, London, a couple places, but it's mostly like been Bergen again, which I think was funny because I kind of ended up in Bergen because of the pandemic, but I also continued to just like choose Bergen over any other place, and it's all like all the narratives after the first album came out was that I was just stuck in Bergen with this Norwegian producer, but actually
free her.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I love this guy. He's like my soulmate.
Was there any pressure to move to America, like when your career started taking off? Were people trying to say like you can't make it unless you live in LA or New York?
LA.
No one has ever said that to me. And also, I was at a party in Budapest, and Ed Sheeran told me, "Don't move to LA."
Wow.
Don't move to New York. And I was like, okay.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Ed.
But now I'm like, wait, I think I should move.
No. On your terms, not on the
on
music
my terms.
business's terms.
I feel like now with the new album coming out, I feel like I really want to pursue music. Like I can't. For me, the past 3 years, I've kind of they've gone like this. It's been very, like they just kind of went. Now it's 3 years later, but I think I've realized that like 3 years in the music industry is like it's like dog years, so it's like 21 years since I put out my first album, and like things are moving so quickly. So now I'm like, oh my god, I need to pursue music. I need to like be more present in these like environments and but also I'm like I don't want to lose my European edge, so I don't know.
Wait, but when you say what is the difference between pursuing music in this moment in 2024 and whatever you were doing in 2018, 2019, 2020? How is it materially different?
Yeah, I mean, you put out an album.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you didn't like disappear.
You have a single produced by Phineas. Put out quite a big album. You've been on
now.
You're open for
tours.
Taylor Swift. Like you haven't not been pursuing music.
Okay, I know that sounds silly. Like I definitely have pursued music, but I think like the emotional aspect feels different now. I think I have a new awareness of like how insane this opportunity is. So I think it's like pursuing now. I say it with like a little bit tongue in cheek. It's like, of course I have been pursuing music, but also it's like I have this immense gratitude for this like opportunity. Like people, like we just today. Tickets, I just put my tour out for like pre-sale, like 10,000 people in the waiting room for Red Rocks. It's 9,000 cap, like it's just selling out so quickly. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I feel like the pursuing aspect now is just like, oh my God, I need to take this seriously. This is an insane opportunity.
And you talked about opening for Claro, you opened for like Conan Gray early on, and then you made this humongous jump in the last couple of years, and you did the Eras tour last year.
So cool.
Well, yeah. Well, like how many dates were you on the Eras tour?
I was on 8 dates. So I did all the shows in June, Pride Month. So
was that intentional?
Yeah, was
probably.
On whose part?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably, not well.
It's Ally.
Swift Inc.
It's
Actually,
allyship.
I was asked to play some shows in April too, I think, but we were able to do it in June instead because I had some rescheduled shows for April. And this sounds so stupid thinking back because I was at Aaron Desner's studio, the Long Pond studio, got the message that we could do support for Taylor. And I was like, oh my God, it's clashing with my shows. I know.
Like, oh, sorry. Taylor,
that?
I'm busy.
But I just really didn't want to disappoint my fans again and like be like, oh, sorry, this other cooler thing came along.
Sure.
But it all worked out. I got to do my rescheduled shows, but also it's like Marie. it's Taylor's Eras tour. Get your shit together. It's not. I don't know, but
was Aaron the original connection? Like, how did you end up in front of Taylor Swift? Do you know? Do you know the backstory?
It was because she liked my album in 2021, I think, and she really, she said that she really liked it, and she's been a fan of that album ever since. And she was very kind when she introduced me at when she started playing her shows, and after a couple of songs, she was like, "We have some amazing openers."
First show of the tour, the Girl in Red opened up.
I know this album. I know all the words back and forth. I know the whole album.
I know every single word to every single song on her album. She's one of my favorite artists. I'm so happy she's joined the tour.
And I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. And I was in the lounge. I was like sitting, where all the famous people go.
Who did you see backstage at the Eras Tour? Yeah, like tell us about the VIP experience.
Yeah,
we didn't make it to the VIP.
Yeah,
at
no,
Eras
not
Tour.
this year.
And then I saw some people in there. I met Hopper from Stranger Things.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Stranger
and
That
Things.
counts.
And I met.
That counts.
I saw Blake Lively in there.
Blake
That
Lively.
definitely counts.
Yeah, I
Definitely
was like,
counts.
oh my god,
Blake having a great week.
I couldn't go up to her and be like, I'm in my Gossip Girl era right now.
How deep do you think you were on the Super Bowl invite list? Like, if Blake got sick, like, would you have gotten the call?
I'm not on the.
Have you met
on
Ice
the list.
Spice? Have you met Ice Spice?
I have not met Ice Spice, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Like I've had like a real Ice Spice awakening.
Yes.
Yeah. Still shaking ass in the deli. Oh,
Yeah,
like
there you
I'm
go,
like,
yeah.
And now you're in New York.
That's like my
it's
heart.
like you can just
go
scream
visit
that on
that
any street
bodega.
corner.
dude,
That's
I
just-
have. I've
someone
been like,
is screaming
think
that,
you're the shit? You're not even the fart. That's like been I've said that on all promo days I've done in New York. And everyone's like, okay.
But talk about the experience of like playing in your bedroom and then your own shows, you know, intimate rooms, and then being in an American football stadium. Like, what is it like to play to those bleachers?
I mean, I had never been to a stadium my whole fucking life, you know? It was the first time, you know, I walked into the Chicago Stadium. That's like the first ever time I've been into a stadium in my life. And just like doing the sound checks, I was like, oh my God, this is big. And then I walked on stage to play the show, and it was a bunch of people there. And I was so nervous I could shit my pants, but it was insane. But I feel like really like one of the things that just like, I think seeing her shows is like what's blown my mind the most, because like the production is just insane.
Yeah.
Like everyone got like wristbands and they're all like flickering, and like there's a whole like the wristbands has its own lighting show. It's
Right.
like, whoa, this is it.
Right. Like this is how far it can go.
Yeah, like that. Obviously I'm far away from playing stadiums, and I met this promoter guy. He was really cool. He was one of Taylor's promoters, I think. And he was like, I was like, yeah, I was on a high. I wasn't high, but I was on a high. I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to be playing these stadiums. And he was like, all right, give me 5 hits then. He humbled me very quickly. But
Only 5?
But is that like, how does that sensation and experience go hand in hand with the other thing you were saying, which is I'm now pursuing music for real? Because on some level, seeing what Taylor built and being able to have access to it, is that part of the thing that reframed how you're viewing this era, forgive me, but this next era?
I definitely feel like seeing how, like, she's worked so fucking hard, so long to be where she is. And I definitely feel like being on the Eras Tour has bled into this whole, like, I'm pursuing music, because like she just has an immense work ethic. Like she's just like, I think it's 9 albums now in 3 years, like with the re-recordings and the new albums and everything. It's just like, I have a long way to go to be even near that, but still like I was really inspired by seeing her perform, and I'm really inspired by just how cohesive everything is. Like even all the, you know, the little Easter eggs and all that stuff, just like how big, and
She built a whole universe.
yeah, there's a whole fucking universe.
Yeah.
And so I definitely feel like that has a big part of me being like, okay, wait, I'm gonna like really fucking pursue music now. And I know some other people also said that, you know, Gracie Abrams also, I think someone told me that she had said something like, yeah, I'm really doing music now. And ever since, I feel like, you know, I see Gracie everywhere. Like she's killing it. So
Yeah, is there like a real affinity between all the openers from Eras last year?
I don't know what that word
You
means.
have all the tour openers. Like, are you guys
Kinship.
all like a little crew now? Because
Is there a group chat? I think is what
there's
Joe
not
was
a group
saying.
chat, but I
is there a
mean,
group chat?
That's
is what I
really
mean.
what Joe
Yeah.
said.
there's not a group chat, but I'm a really big fan of Gracie. She knows that, and she comes into my DMs every now and then, says hi. I do too. So I'm a huge fan of her new album that came out last year, and also a big fan of Sabrina.
Right. So
You
Sabrina
know.
Carpenter's on your
Yeah.
new album, right? Like, how,
Ooh, yeah.
spoiler.
Spoiler.
How did that happen?
I posted about Nonsense, her song Nonsense, on my story. And then she was like, oh my God, what the hell? That's so cool that you liked the song, something like that. I saw you at Coachella. I think it was Coachella. Can't remember, but she liked my performance. And then, so that was like the initial connection, I think. And then I just sent her a very long, weird video of me being like, hey, I have this song. Would you want to be interested on being on it? And she was like, you can literally ask me to like, I think she said something about like I would fart. Like,
Wow.
or
She
like,
presaged the Ice Spice thing.
yeah,
She
like,
was there early on farting.
You're not hearing a fart. She was like, I'll be on anything. I feel like she said something similar to that. I can't remember exactly, but that's how it happened. And then I had some melodies and some words. She put some words in there. We kind of wrote it together, did some FaceTimes.
And I like how you kept the kind of transition in the song of like, wouldn't it be great if?
Yeah.
No,
you know
I
what'd be
like.
really fucking cool in this?
Yeah.
Sabrina.
No, it's good. I mean, honestly, it's very hip hop to
Yeah,
me. It was
it
just
is.
like, yeah, it's extremely
It's
hip
I
like
hop.
love that you
rap-
say
a
it's
rap
hip hop
feature.
because
Yeah.
the other day I've been wanting this. Okay, you know Pharrell, he made this whole
Yeah.
collection with these like really soft leather
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton
Yeah, the
bags.
bandoliers.
Like
The
a speedy bag, yeah.
Speedies, yeah.
And I've been wanting like one of those red ones. I just think it's so cool. It's like
Yeah.
girl in red. It's like a cute little it item. I said this to someone at my label, and they were like, "Okay, we'll help you out, fix it." Turns out it's $15,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maxing it out with 2K. Like I was gonna go all in on the 2K bag. And then my label lady, here's the red thread, or here's the reason why I'm saying it. She was like, "Oh, Marie, that's so hip hop."
I mean, it is.
Right. I didn't know, but she
Yeah.
was just like, she thought it was so hip hop of me. And then I realized, okay, maybe it's hip hop because
Pharrell
I don't feel like
making
an indie artist would pay $15,000 for a leather bag.
So you didn't ultimately.
I have not purchased the bag.
It's like
and
it's a goal item.
it's a goal item.
Before you play
if the
stadiums,
new album
you'll
goes
buy
well,
the LV bag.
I'll
Right.
maybe get a bag. No, it's
Maybe the
it's-
fans can come together.
You want to just
No,
like
that's a bad look. Hey, guys.
Yeah, like $5 in. Shipping
No,
for the
no, no.
book.
No,
Okay.
just
They've
buy
done
the
enough.
vinyl. Buy the
Just
vinyl.
vinyl,
Let
that's-
Marie get
That's
her.
right.
her
Buy the
bag.
vinyl so that I can buy a insanely. And like, how can anything even be that expensive?
But they're very cool. Yeah, all the
They're very cool, but $15K, I don't know, man.
they're so soft.
That's like a
They're
whole
very
car.
They're very soft.
Oh,
They're very
you have
soft.
one?
No, but I did interview Pharrell last
John
year
was in
before
Paris.
the bags came out, and I saw
Looking
the
at the
bags.
bags.
I held the bags. I held a yellow one, IRL. It is
It's special. The thing is,
you
I saw
saving up?
Jacob Elordi
No.
with the bag.
Jacob already had the bag.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jacob
he
Elordi
has a yellow
definitely
and a
had the
green
bag,
one. I've
yeah.
seen it on Instagram. I think he looks fucking sick with the bag. That's why I want to enter my Jacob Elordi.
Don't we
era.
all? Yeah.
I think maybe once the album is out, that's the treat.
You think so?
That's the treat.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. When a
Treat
big piece
yourself.
comes out,
Yeah.
I buy something expensive.
But you've been
Okay.
doing some
Home
fashion
design,
week. You've been doing
couches.
some fashion week this year
I
in New
haven't
York.
done. Yeah, I've
You
done
got.
some.
I see you pushing a Cartier.
This is a Cartier,
Yeah.
and this is the album to watch. So the thing is, I've been a little bit preemptive with the whole.
Oh, you already treated yourself.
I've
Okay.
already okay. So actually, this was like this. It says "I'm doing an EM baby" on the back.
Oh
And this
wow!
is-
Oh,
it's
you-
engraved with the album
tight.
title.
Yeah,
Very
this is the
tight.
album to
Hold it up,
watch.
hold it up for the
can you
camera.
show
It's
it
my
to the
first
camera?
ever watch.
Shout out first.
It's very. I feel very like I
big dime piece energy.
I was very sold with the whole like Andy Warhol story and like everyone in the 60s, 70s wearing watches like this. I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with all of that old New York elite cultural vibe. So I was like,
Tight.
so me and Matthias, my co-producer, we got matching ones.
Cool.
We bought them. We left them with the AD. And when we were all done with the album, we were like, the shop closes in 30 minutes. Let's
gotta, like, rush
run
and get-
down,
oh, that's
get
cool.
the f***ing watch.
Oh,
and
that's
that's what
cool.
we did.
That's a
And
celebration
then we got it,
for sure.
yeah, engraved and everything.
All right, I have a question about fans.
Yeah.
One detail I remember from when we spoke
Yeah.
is you were in group chats,
Yep.
like various group chats. Now, obviously, it's a very different time. 5 years have passed.
Yep.
There's a lot more people at the party now. But I remember being so struck because I think that level of intimacy with fans and connection is something that a lot of artists inorganically try to arrive at. But you had found a way very early to directly. And now it seems like you have a pretty popping Discord. Get in
Yep.
the Popcast Discord while you're here. Why not? But tell me a little bit about cultivating those fan relationships in that micro way. What did you learn like in 2018, 2017 from that degree of exposure? What did you learn? And I wonder if there's any similarities between that and kind of what you see Taylor doing, but at scale.
Yeah. I mean, I think when people started like DMing me being like, "Oh my God, I love your song," I was just blown away. I was like, "Oh my God, my music is like reaching out to people." So in the beginning, it was very much just like, maybe 5 DMs a day. Then it was like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I remember I have a very like it's a vague memory of being like, oh my God, it says 99 plus. Like it's like
Wow,
it's like,
yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, I
The
can't keep up
inbox.
with this. But then, yeah, you know, I used to like go like really like go through all my DMs, being like thanking everyone, being like, I really appreciate it. And now that I've just announced the new album and a lot of people are tagging me in their music and people are tagging me that just got tickets or something,
Right.
I'm in there being like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But honestly, I've taken a big step back from social media. I've basically not posted anything in so long. So I feel like I've maybe burnt some bridges with my fans a little bit because like
Interesting.
Oh, they miss you?
no, I
Or
don't
they
know.
feel
but,
like they had more access to you before.
yeah, and
now
then I
they
kind of like disappeared a little bit after the album one, and then like I did my touring and I did that. But I'm back in the DMs now, and I'm back, and I still am in group chats.
Really?
I just got a bunch of addresses from people in group chats so that I can send them a little special box with like vinyl and like some extra, you know, kind of album pieces because I want to thank them for being so patient and also being so supportive.
So
Are
like,
they
you
the
keep up-
same group?
Yeah, like with the day
same
ones?
group chats?
Yeah, they're
from-
like multiple group chats are still the same group chats.
Unbelievable.
I know it's insane.
And
But-
they've probably made friendships amongst each other.
yeah, like they
right?
go to shows together. Like it's insane.
We'll talk sometimes about how certain social media platforms can shape the culture that comes out of them. Was any of that sort of, you know, a Tumblr thing or anything like that
Yeah.
where the type of communication that was happening in the social media that you were absorbing at the time then got reflected in the character?
Probably like I mean I was a Tumblr girl and I used to like
Same.
Joe,
right?
big
like,
Tumblr girl.
I
yeah.
have so many reposted pictures of like MacBooks on like a bed and like it's just like you know what I mean?
Vintage.
Yeah, like and it's like it's with the light on the back, of course, because
Yeah.
like when the Apple was still like
Yeah.
lit. But you
I can't
know,
believe they deleted my Tumblr.
They deleted your Tumblr?
Like when, you know, it got sold to like Yahoo or
You
something.
lost your Tumblr in that
Yeah,
transition?
I lost my Tumblr.
they kept mine.
I just,
Is all your
with
Tumblr still
intention.
up?
yeah.
Oh, it still exists?
Yeah,
like
it
a
still
museum?
exists, yeah.
And you haven't curated it all. You haven't pruned it. You've kept it exactly
I've
as
kept
is.
it, and like I have like I don't know. I definitely feel like my music was a little bit like Tumblr-y at the time, and I remember also I had a song called "Say Anything," which also was a very like it was a reference to that song. It was just about that about that movie with you know with the
John
boombox.
Cusack.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I feel like I was just heavily just inspired by all indie things like American movies, Tumblr. So I feel like in a way I was just like spitting that energy out again
But through your own
through
sort
my
of,
own sort of like I was doing what I felt was cool, but also I think I was a little. I mean, I was younger, and I think my impressions. I was very impressionable, but in a way, I almost feel more impressionable now that I'm older because there's so many interesting things in the world. So I'm just like sucking it up constantly. But
I found one of your other old pages recently.
Yeah, speaking of old pages.
which is your fingerboarding YouTube account.
dude, you want to hear something insane?
Yeah.
I've just been asked to perform at the World Championship of Fingerboarding.
Can you explain fingerboarding? Like,
Wait, you're going to do it.
like
Of course.
yeah, like obviously.
There's
You
like
have to.
it's
That's
like they
that's
have
your
no
roots.
budget. I'm losing 100K probably, but I'm doing it.
okay, explain fingerboarding because I'm closer in age to you.
How old are you?
Than John is. I'm 35. I'm a decade older than you.
89.
88.
Okay.
and
so
I
yeah.
am older,
And John's a little older.
How
so
old are you?
I had
48.
Okay, you're chill.
I had a fingerboards as a kid,
Yeah.
very early on, in probably their rise. Like, can you explain to people who have never seen or heard of this, like what it is?
Fingerboarding is exactly what it sounds like. You're skateboarding with your fingers on a tiny little skateboard, and you can do all the same tricks that you can with the real skateboard. You can do it with your fingers, except the risk of hurting yourself.
Right.
So it's honestly just
And those battles, so Joe showed me some of the battles,
Yeah.
like
Like
what's
you did it
happening.
competitively.
Yeah.
Yeah, explain to us
I was
what a battle
14
looks
years
like.
old, flying to Berlin, literally, fighting for my life with my fingers out in the field.
What does it look like?
So the Eras tour is nothing.
Yeah,
So
you're like,
Eras tour is light work.
I was like, yeah.
It's like you wasn't with me in Luftstrasse there in the round 3 of the battle. Like you wasn't there.
It's incredible.
And where were you on the rankings? Like,
were you good?
And the thing is, I was so nervous. I was like, I feel like if I were able to go today, it would be something completely different because I wasn't used to be on like a little podium or stage or anything.
Right.
But I got on 30. I was on 32.
the round of 32.
No, that's my spot. Like that's where I ended.
Ranked 32 in the world.
Yeah, in the world.
That's really high.
It's still
very
pretty
high.
good, but I mean, I won
She's
second.
like, I was only the 32nd.
There was a
best
competition in
fingerboarder.
Norway, and I was second in Norway. So I was the second best fingerboarder,
All
not
age
fingerboard
groups?
player.
All age groups.
I don't
All
think a
age-
lot of
yeah.
age groups are doing.
Yeah, it
What
was-
about what about the elderly fingerboarding community? It's really
they don't
really-
exist. They don't
do
exist.
you still do it?
Yeah, I was in Berlin just, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. I got a whole new setup.
Wow.
You know, I was doing tricks in the Berlin fingerboard store. The guy who worked there was filming me. We made a little edit. I was like, you know, all my
there's
friends.
like skate videos, like there are real
Yeah,
skate
and my
videos,
friends left
there's
me there, and they
fingerboarding.
were like, "We'll see you in a couple hours, Marie." I was like, "Great, this is amazing."
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So on that page, you had a link to your SoundCloud,
Yes.
which was Life Sucks.
Yeah, life sucks.
Very
State of
teen.
mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
very teen state of mind.
But yeah, like music was like a side project to your fingerboarding career.
Yeah,
at
I
that
remember.
point?
I've had multiple Instagrams, and I have one that has 32,000 pictures uploaded from the age of like. I mean, that's a fucking gold mine. I need to get back in there. But anyways, and I had my fingerboard Instagram, and I remember I posted on one of my private ones. I wish that my music career was popping off as much as my fingerboarding, and that's like I have that picture. Like I have that, and I think that's so cute because I had tried with the Norwegian stuff and it wasn't really working, wasn't
Yeah.
really connecting, but.
I'm glad the fingerboarding community doesn't feel like you abandoned them.
Oh, I think
and that
that-
they're welcoming you to the championship. Like, I'm glad that there's no bad blood.
I think, yeah, there's no bad blood. I think everyone knows why I left. So like they all knew it was like for a greater cause, but that's where I started promoting my music. And I actually,
Incredible.
I had completely forgotten that's where I started promoting it. But someone reminded me yesterday or something, or actually I did this interview I was like walking a dog. It's like, it's up for adoption. And then they made me fingerboard at the end of the interview, like on the ground,
Amazing.
on the
We
dirtiest
don't have
street
a
of New
setup.
York
We don't
City.
have
I was,
we left our half pipe at home.
That's good.
And also our shelter dog.
that's great.
Did you show Taylor Swift your fingerboarding?
No, I did not.
Next time, please.
I think also I would probably be too nervous to even my fingers would be so sweaty the grip tape wouldn't even be doing any gripping.
She'd probably get on and just be so good
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
it. Just
naturally.
like naturally.
Naturally, really,
but I'm thinking
really.
of doing like a fingerboarding music video.
Yeah, you should.
Like- you have to, yeah.
There's a song on the album called "Doing It Again, Baby," which has like one of the coolest riffs on the whole album. It's so good. I think I feel like that song deserves a fingerboarding video.
You need to get like Spike Jones to direct.
Yeah, it's got to
like
be
an
like
old
real
school skate
94
video.
energy.
yeah,
95 energy.
that's what I want to do. I want to do like the whole like speeding up the clip of like going on a plane, then like landing.
Yeah,
like,
great.
I used to make all these like fingerboarding
Sold.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
That's amazing.
Real sold.
But you have a real community in that sense from the beginning. You mentioned I Want to Be Your Girlfriend going viral, and there was the sort of TikTok moment of
Yeah, we fell in love in October.
fell in love in October and sort of do you like Girl in Red
Yeah.
being
As code word. Yeah.
for being gay. Is that like, and why do you think that people have been able to use you as that connecting piece? Is it because the songs are so specific and so detailed and so
I
emotional?
don't know. I think that's like I actually don't know. And I think, I've been in even though this whole new album is about like having big energy and just being like coming back to yourself, I still have very strong moments of insecurity and feeling like I just make music.
But I think people are drawn to that too. Like
Maybe,
that
I don't know.
even your humility or your self-deprecation.
Which I think there's also a bunch of self-deprecation on this record. Like, I mean, there's, the opening song,
yeah.
you're letting people know I'm coming off of a period of anxiety or retreat. There's a song where it's like, pick me, pick the loser.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's...
I love that you're saying that because that's exactly the whole themes of the album is that imbalance or the moments of feeling like you're the absolute shit and then feeling absolutely shit.
Right.
Like and I love that you picked up on that because the Pick Me song that you're referring to is one of my worst qualities that I keep like having to interact with is like my insecurity around my girlfriend is bisexual, and I love that she's bisexual, love that for her, but also I have this immense security that I'm never gonna be a man, I'm never gonna be everything. But also she was like, but Marie, like a man is never ever gonna be a woman, and I was like, damn, that's a good way to phrase it.
That's a bar.
But so basically, so I do have a lot of insecurities and stuff, and I put that into the album too. But basically, all I was saying about this insecurity stuff was that yesterday I met up with my radio person, and we had some. It's been a very, very intense week, and we've had some ups and downs. Basically, what she said is that, Maria, I think you highly underestimate what your music means to people, and I think that's why I can't answer why people use my music the way they do, because I think I really am very self-critical, and I talk a lot of shit to myself. Like I have parrots on both shoulders really just telling me, you suck, Marie. So I think that's why I don't understand why the music connects.
When I first was encountering those songs, the frankness and the openness and the unself-consciousness of stating the emotion.
Yeah.
You know, we encounter all kinds of pop musicians who like obfuscate and hide and like write in metaphor and like, how do I bury a kind of truth inside a literary illusion inside? And when I was first encountering your music, I was like, here's someone who's just literally cutting to the chase.
Yeah.
These are affirmative statements. They're profound emotions. And at that time, especially 2018, I mean, I think the landscape has changed somewhat in terms of people talking about gay love and queer love in the pop mainstream. But I don't think at that time it felt common at all.
Yeah,
I think it was for a lot of people.
Also.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for maybe a certain generation, it awoke something and saying, hey, this isn't available anywhere else. It's not on the radio. It's so to the point. I think it allowed people to access. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, but I actually thought about the lyric side, like, because, you know, I see lots of new artists pop up on my For You page all the time. And then I realized the normal way of writing, like the writing style is very much like cutting straight to the chase now. But doesn't mean it doesn't all grip me or like kind of move me necessarily. But it's definitely like, that's a very trendy way of writing also.
John was mentioning sort of the idea of you speaking frankly, not only about your feelings, but about your sexuality in music. Like, do you think that the landscape for that, especially in the pop mainstream, has gotten better in the 5 or so years that you've been a popular musician?
Of course. I think it's I think it just keeps getting better, right? You know,
you
Troye
feel optimistic
Sivan
about it?
Yeah, I think so. He's out there being a little cutie with his new amazing album. Love it.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Troye Sivan.
Oh, Troye. Yeah, absolutely. Great record.
And then, I mean, but, you know, Phoebe Bridgers is by. She's popping off. Like, I think.
And the thing about Troye and Phoebe in a different fashion, you know, Lil Nas X era, the frankness and the straightforwardness. And this is always, again, this is the thing that I feel like I was identifying in you very, very early on, was like, there's nothing coded here.
Yeah.
There's nothing to unpack or decode. It's just straightforward. And I think in the last 3 or 4 years, especially, that feels more and more. And I think you see it in Troy's new album, like stepping into it even more and just owning it, which is actually really encouraging to see.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, it's becoming more and more safe. Well, you know, ironically also, like, with the music, it's people might be getting more like opening up, being more direct, but also like worldwide, we're seeing pretty much rights being stripped left and right. Kind of non-political, pun intended, but like I feel like the LGBTQ plus movement has actually been weakened quite a bit the past couple of years, and I feel like it's more popular now to see kind of things kind of going the wrong way. I feel like things were getting better, but also maybe I'm just being served all the negative stuff. You know, people do say that the world is in a better place than it was like 50 years ago.
Right, but
So
you think as people have gotten, you think people are pushing back in the music? Like they have to be more open because they feel...
I don't know, like
or like the frankness in culture is causing people
backlash.
who are
Yeah.
less amenable to want to articulate their resistance
yeah,
in
maybe.
a way.
I think,
yeah.
you know, the more, you know, people being like, oh, it's so trendy being gay. It's like, no, it's just safer now. It's
Yeah.
just like, I think musically, we're kind of heading in the right direction. But also I feel like it almost gives like a wrong picture of like what's really going on in the world. I feel like it's so normal being like, I'm so privileged. Like I think, you know, I have my head far up my ass sometimes. I don't even think about the countries sometimes that don't have rights.
Yeah, there does seem to be a
I think I can
cultural
forget.
conservative backlash, broadly speaking,
Yeah.
in a number of areas
100%.
that seem to be very evidently in reaction to the advances of rights
Yeah.
of previously marginalized groups
Yeah.
or previously groups that express themselves in code and in the shadows. And it seems like
We still
that's-
need Do We Listen to Girl in Red? You know what I mean? Some people still need that. So
Do you feel that same, like the freedom to sing those songs in 2018, 2019, and then the freedom to sing those songs in 2024? Does it mean the same thing to you?
to perform the songs?
Or does your relationship has your relationship to that kind of songwriting
Like
evolved
they're-
because you've changed?
You know, I just put out a song called Too Much.
So different at heart. You're on Earth, I'm on Mars. All I ever wanted was your love. I toned myself down for you. Volume 1 almost mute. I'll never ignite. You always found a way to bring me down.
And then someone's like, "Oh, just go back to writing gay songs, please." I'm like, "What do you mean gay songs? This is about my experience in my relationship,
Right.
which is a lesbian relationship." So I think I would say I'm still as frank, but obviously I can't be writing the same song. So it's a little bit, the phrasing is a little bit different, and just the songs are different. But then I have this other song called "A Night to Remember," and I'm all about talking about the first night I met her, and it's like very much using her pronouns.
Yeah,
like
some songs on this album do and some songs don't.
yeah, but I think
Use female pronouns.
Yeah.
yeah. So in my song "Girls," it's very much like I like girls. But I feel like I've made that song, and I needed to make that song, and then I can't keep making those songs, even though people want me to make another "I Want to Be Your Girlfriend," and people want me to make all these other songs. But I feel like I still have the same kind of, I'm just writing a song, and it happens to be about my partner or my ex or, you know, whatever, and that's always going to be a girl probably, unless we go way back, it's a guy.
Do you feel like you said there are the occasional fans who will say, "I want that version of you"?
Yeah.
But like you say, you're in these group chats. Are you in the Discord? Do you jump in your Discord?
Yeah, I go on the Discord.
So
I go
you see the
live.
conversation. What are you mostly seeing when you're in those chats or you're in those kind of like unmediated fan spaces?
I think, I don't know, sometimes DMs or especially comments on TikTok or like Instagram. It's like, oh, her voice changed. Like, it's like, no, yeah, of course. It's has been 7 fucking years since I sang that song. So like, I hope so.
Do you take that stuff to heart? Like, do you change the
course.
way, but do you like,
I
do you
don't-
have to say like, I can't let this affect me? Or are you like, I'm taking all of these
Oh,
different
no.
feedback channels and maybe they'll come out in future songs I write?
No, I think I take it all in, but I don't let it out like that. I don't let it control me artistically, but I definitely let everything affect me emotionally, for sure. I mean, I don't like when someone says make another like serotonin or something. I'm like, I think, especially when it's like the response to a new song, I think my feelings are hurt, but obviously not that deep. But
Right.
obviously, I'm like, I wish that they liked the new song, obviously.
Sure.
So,
But you're not like I never read the comments person, obviously.
I
you
read the comments, and I probably sometimes too much. Also, no pun intended again. But I I care a lot about what people think. And I've seen the Taylor Swift documentary, and she's like, when your whole life is dependent on like what other people think of you and that whole world shatters, like when she with the Reputation era and all that stuff, like I can really relate to that because I definitely the last couple of 5 years I've put all my worth into what people think of me, and especially coming into this new album campaign, I've been like, oh my god, what if people don't like this new album? Like I've shared it with friends and family for so long, and everyone's been like, oh my god, Marie, this is your best work, like this is your best stuff. But then I've been like, if people don't like it, it's the end for me. Like, then I feel like I'm gonna disappear. So I definitely feel like I've had this I don't have a very healthy relationship with that. Need to work on it.
Has that changed at all? Oh, like in the last 5 years, I assume, I mean, I might be wrong, but I assume you have more confidence in your interpersonal relationships, in your romantic relationships. Does that not spill over into how you think how the music is received, or how you think about how the music is received?
The title, like we kind of mentioned in the beginning, it's like the title is from a moment where I'm like, this album is so much better than the first one. It's better. So I'm doing it again, baby.
Yeah.
Like it comes from a moment of very like high on self-esteem. But the thing is, like, sometimes I'm like, this album is the best album I've ever made. I think Too Much is a hit. Let's work that on the radio. Like, this album is going to be life-changing. I'm like, I'm up there. I don't know what it is. It can like be a comment that can trigger something like maybe they're right. Maybe it does sound too different. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit more pop. Yeah, it is a little bit more polished. Like, did I lose myself? Did I subconsciously like cater to then I'm like, and then I'm down here again, and I think that the album sucks, and I think that doesn't sound professional enough. I think that it doesn't sound like anything else that's going viral on TikTok. Nobody's ever going to connect with this. I need to try and find a middle ground, because I think it's very exhausting for my partner and everyone around me who constantly needs to reassure me, like, Marie, no, but like you worked so hard on this and you love it. Why are you saying you hate it now? Like, but you know, I definitely have more confidence in my relationship, even though I have moments of insecurity of there too. But
yeah, you made a happy album.
It is a happy album.
Is it hard for someone who started as a angsty singer-songwriter to be happy in a relationship? Like, did you feel like, oh no, I don't have any material because I'm supposed to be writing sad songs?
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I was struggling so hard to write this album because I was like, I'm happy. And I was really struggling to write honestly, because the honest song would be a fun song,
right?
Or it would be a happy song.
Which is not your normal.
Yeah, the honest song wouldn't be like, I'm so sad, what am I gonna do? Like, and I think that was something I also had to realize, that like I need to write from where I am, and because you've heard Doing It Again, the song, yeah.
I'm on a new level, something's got me feeling like I could be inflammable, and I might be. I'm gonna light it up, nothing's gonna stop me if I say this is what I want. Got my Ray-Bans on and I'm rolling with the boys. Having all the swagger was never a choice.
So like that song is like just a fun song about feeling yourself, having so much confidence, just feeling like you're on the top of the world. But then I was trying to write that song, and I had the riff and I had what the energy made me feel. But then I was thinking like, oh my God, I need to make this song about, anxiety. Like that
you
doesn't work.
You had anxiety about making songs about
anxiety. Yeah, basically. I was like, I don't know, I was freaking out because I was like, what if people don't connect with this version of me?
But do you feel entitled to be happy? Do you feel like you're allowed to be happy? In any context, whether it's songwriting, friendships, romance, like is the fundamental thing that you're expressing, that something about being happy puts you at unease in a way?
Yeah, I think for a very long time it did, but I think that was because I hated myself and I was punishing myself a lot, and I felt like I was unworthy of happiness. I felt like I was unworthy of love. And these sounds very dramatic, but when you're 21, 20, like it's like those feelings are really real. And like, so, but I don't feel uneasy with the happiness now. And I definitely feel like that's a part of this whole album was being like, I am happy and that's f***ing sick and I can make cool music.
Yeah.
It's like almost like being, bipolar and not wanting to take your meds because like, no, then I'll lose all my creativity.
Right.
It's like, no, it's like also with being happy, I didn't lose my artistry, but it was been a whole like journey. And that's why like when I finally started making stuff again, I was like, this is cool. Like owning the fact that this song is just about like having swagger. Like there's a, I have a lyric that's having all the swagger was never a choice. And it took balls for me to put that in there because it's like, because it sounds very superficial because the song is just about having fun and feeling yourself. But there was a whole thing going on. Like, am I allowed to have fun in a song? Can music be fun or does it, because like there's the tendency in the market also, it's like sadness really sells.
Of course.
Like it's all been like mental health is also, it's very popular to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because like it's more open. It's more easy. It's easier to talk about it. But also, big corporates know that mental health is like it's something. It's like
It's marketable.
Yeah, it's marketable, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. So I realized that I can't try and make this music. I can't sell this music by making it sad when I'm not sad.
Right. And you also have songs that are sort of meta versions about that, about writing the songs. I'm thinking of the album Closer, which is like, can I write a hit? You know, is it good enough? I want to write a smash, basically. And you put that in the songs too. So is that where you were able to get some tension to hold the album together by talking about the process
That
itself?
was the last song that I also made for the album, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's kind of like discussing this, like, I don't know, am I good enough? Is it bad?
Yeah.
Is it good? Like, can I do it again? Like kind of asking, like, almost if I didn't do it, can I try again? Like, kind of, I don't know. But that
And
song,
the production choices are very particular on that song.
Yeah.
They feel like it's basically like I'm making a glittery hit about whether I can make a glittery hit.
yeah,
sort
it's
of how
like,
it
yeah,
feels,
it's like, it's a fun little thing. And it's also kind of like tapping into like the factory stuff with the Andy Warhol stuff. And then I'm kind of like, I don't know. I was just also kind of with how my friend and I talked about this, and I thought his perspective of it was really interesting because he was like, "Oh, I thought you meant like making music as it was a factory thing. Like it's like it's fabricated. Like writing hits in a like
Is a
as-
fact.
Yeah.
almost like a
The Max
factory.
Martin factory,
Yeah, basically.
literally.
versus
So-
the Andy Warhol factory.
yeah. So I just thought that was also like, oh, that's actually really interesting because that's something I've also kind of had to. Am I a type of artist who can just go into the studio, just smash out a hit, or do I have to wait until the really good DNA idea comes into my brain? But that's been like a whole thing. But
Do you have a take on why Scandinavia is a international hit factory? Like why Scandinavian artists can make smashes?
I think, honestly, my theory, which is why I mentioned my European edge previously, is because a lot of the music is being made in LA. And I think when you have this like dense place with, same impressions, kind of like same environment, it's like without noticing, I think you're all inspired by probably the same stuff. So when you go over to Europe, I think the European stuff feels fresher for the American market, maybe.
Even if they're imitating what they think is American
American,
music.
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
that's the early Max
There's something
Martin
slightly
stories
wrong,
where he's
like
like,
this.
I'm trying to write American R&B hit, and then
Yeah.
it turns into
Something.
Baby One
backstreet,
More Time
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, a Max Martin song is a Scandinavian person's idea of an American song.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
filter. It's like a Scandinavian Snapchat filter on
That's
an
exactly
American
what it
pop
is.
song. You talked about Girl in Red early in your career as a character, or you're
Yeah.
writing into a character, and you were just talking about, in essence, is that character allowed to change?
Yeah.
Do you still, in the songwriting context, do you still think of Girl in Red as a character or a project, something that's a little bit separate from Marie?
Not anymore. I
Okay.
think like it was more of like a sad girl aesthetic, like in 2019. Like it was a little bit more like it had more of a aesthetic to it like that. I was like, I was younger and I was more insecure, and I was like, at least I like, I was doing stuff that I felt was cool, but like, hopefully people will like it. But now I feel like I have a much more like, I have so much more confidence in my taste and like what I think is cool, what I really want to do, what I don't like. So I think Girl in Red now is like much more Marie than it ever was.
Okay.
Maybe this whole album is just like when I redefine what Girl in Red is and what it has been. Hopefully it's not a has been, but we'll see.
You've had obviously the Taylor tour, but I feel like you are having a set of experiences now that maybe would have been unthinkable to you 5 years ago.
Of course.
I know you're at Fashion Week. So I think we all really want to know. Tell us about Pookie and Jett.
Before New York Fashion Week, Campbell's looking absolutely ravishing. I've tried to avoid looking at her, so I'm just getting the first good look. Incredible, babe.
Yeah, we saw the photo.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
God.
that's like really, we've just been
The
an
worst
hour.
thing-
lead up.
It's an
to-
hour of setup just to talk about Pookie and
Literally
Jett.
the worst thing happened.
Tell me.
Okay, so I walked over to my sister and I was, oh my God, Tina, Jett and Pookie, they're here. And she was
Unbelievable.
like, and then she corrected me and said Jeff. And I was like, oh. Yeah, and then I walked over to Jett and I said Jeff.
Oh,
And he said, looked at me and he said, Jett? And I was like, I could kill myself right now. He corrected me and I was like, I knew it was Jett. I said Jett, but then my sister said Jeff and I was like, I can't say
You're
the
throwing
wrong
your
f***ing
sister under
name.
the bus, though.
wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm throwing, like, I told
quiet
her
for you,
this
sis.
entire day, I was like, Tina, it's your fault. And she's
Wow.
like, Marie, it's not my fault. And I'm like, you have to
Wow.
take some of the blame, my sister.
Wow.
We're inseparable, so it's fine. But it is my fault. But it was still, we took the picture. And I said, I'm a big fan of your videos, which it sounds like I'm not when I got the name wrong. Oh, I hate myself.
Is that like someone coming up to you and being like, Claro?
No, that hasn't happened. But I mean, like, sometimes people will call me like Maria, and I'm like, oh, I hate you. So I really, honestly, Jett,
He's never going to
you're
forget
allowed to
it.
hate me.
Wow. What was their energy IRL?
Their energy IRL, they were very much busy trying to get out. So I was annoying them.
They're like, we've taken
Booked-
so many
they
photos.
were like booked and blessed.
They are the
They're like-
hottest couple in the world
Yeah.
right now.
I've seen so many people with photos with them in the last like 48
Yeah.
hours.
Travis and Taylor, who?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, honestly,
literally.
I mean, also that I was watching the Super Bowl, my first ever Super Bowl. So it's been a year of big firsts.
Big first.
Wow.
But I was texting my A&R guy at the label, and he was like, actually, he's the head of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
But so, and he was like, he said the whole thing is rigged, and I love that because
Wait, Ron?
Ron Perry said
Ron?
Thinks the
Ron
Super
Perry's
Bowl was
yeah,
Ron?
it was insane. I loved that match. I didn't know anything about the rules or anything, but then I had my friend Rex there, and he taught me all
you
about
everything.
football.
So what else? So we have fashion weeks, we have football. Like, what are some other things?
Cartier watches.
Cartier watches, like in the last
Louis
like 12
Vuitton
months.
layover.
Yeah, it's like Louis Vuitton
next?
GoFundMe.
I just bought a Corvette,
No.
Seriously?
a red vet
You're
for
kidding.
Girl in Red.
Wow.
A
Like a new one?
2005. No. Are you
Oh,
crazy? They're not
vintage.
cool.
So what year?
2005, a C6 Corvette, and I was at the CVS the other day trying to get some midnight snacks, and I found it's tiny little C6 Corvette, $8.
Wait, so this is in Norway, though?
Yeah, so this is in
A
Norway.
lot of Corvettes in
Yeah, I was
Norway?
gonna say people pushing
No,
Corvettes.
no,
in Norway?
it's imported from California. Yeah, I know.
Oh, you
So
put
you
it on
can't,
a
you can't
boat.
get the Louis Vuitton bag. You just
Yeah,
bought a sports
you bought
car.
that.
You know, I was
A
gonna
Louis
tell
Vuitton
you
bag
earlier
could
though.
drive.
Yeah, because but then we already talked about the other thing that
Yeah,
I've
wow,
been.
you're flossing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Wait,
Dude.
so you could afford the Louis Vuitton bag? Let's just be honest.
I
Let's
can
keep it a
afford
buck.
I can afford the Louis Vuitton bag. Would I ever spend $15K on the bag?
It's really soft.
Like I mean,
Sorry, it's really soft. It's really soft.
I love that you're
really-
like it's actually
it's
Is that
really
your
really
soft.
first car?
Yeah.
No, okay. So I bought a Model 3 in 2020. It's like the most common car. It's the most sold car in Norway. It's the family car in Norway. So it's not
Tesla?
Yeah, the Tesla Model 3. It's
Okay.
like it's not perceived as like a cool car. So
Right.
that's like my low key car. But I have my
So you needed a weekend car.
Yeah.
yeah, in the summer car. This is my red vet, and the license plate says Girl in Red.
Wow.
Or actually, it says Girl in Red because I don't have we don't have all the
You don't have
letters.
all-
Okay, but this is
You
a
don't have all the vowels
All right, but this
in
is a very sincere
Norwegian.
question. As someone who drives like a somewhat difficult car,
Yeah.
this is a sincere question. Are there adequate mechanics in Norway
To
who are
handle,
familiar
yeah.
with a Corvette who
Yeah.
will be able to look after it?
100%.
Okay.
Like there's a big market in Norway for Norway is obsessed with anything like American pop culture, and same goes with cars. Like my dad has a Chevy or Chevrolet,
Wow.
Okay.
like a big thing, and
I
he's,
love that pushing a foreign in Norway is driving
a
a Chevy.
yeah, he's like he's obsessed with it, and he's built a fucking living room in the back of it. Also, he's like, "See you later, wife." Like he goes in the back of the car and he stays there for as long as he needs to.
Incredible.
Yeah. So now I'm bonding with my father over the Corvette. We don't bond over a lot of things, but
Why the vet? Like, why specifically?
I saw the vet in a parking lot in 2021.
Okay.
And
In America?
No, in the U.S. No, sorry, in Norway.
Oh, okay.
And it was a blue vet, and I was like, oh my god, it was a C5, so it was a little bit older, and I was just obsessed with the backlights of it. I didn't even know it was a Corvette, and then I've just seen it, and every summer I'm like, should I get it? It's like, should I? And then I've never done it because it's like, it is a lot of money, and also I gotta have parking and shit for it. But then this year I was like, you know what? It. The thing is, my grandma, she used to live in Seattle. She had like a 1979 Corvette. She was rocking a Corvette in the 70s. She looked like a babe, and she's still alive, by the way. And it's my grandma's looking after it right now.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
so it
not
runs
right now,
in the-
but when it comes.
it runs in the family.
Unbelievable.
And it said on her license plate, it said "Min bil," which means my car. So she was a legend, and she still is, of
real
course.
gearhead family.
Yeah.
But I love that you're talking 2005 as if it's
That's
like
vintage.
No, but that's
a
like
million years
my
ago.
friend
I mean,
who
it
did
is.
the
but-
whole artwork with me. His name is Richard. We've done everything regarding like the album stuff. He just got a Porsche from a friend, so he got a good price, and
Everybody eating.
yeah, everybody
Whole
eating.
team.
No, he's not a part of my team actually though. He does his own thing, and he has all the he's a
Collaborator,
watch
though.
guy
Yeah.
and he's like 40 something. He's very old. So
Very old.
sorry, John, but yeah, he's not very old. He's like I said,
R.I.P.
80 years old. That's when you're old to
elderly.
me. But I can't remember what I was saying now. But yeah, he called it neo vintage. So it's like
Yeah,
you
recent
go.
vintage.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's
As,
but
that's
it has like a cute little Y2K vibe to it.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm really getting into like
The
funny-
finer things.
yeah.
which is funny because
Does
I
it
feel
make
like
you? Well, I wonder. Does it make you think differently about what your relationship to success is in terms of like real monetary terms? Because it's one thing to be like, I make my small albums.
Yeah.
I make my albums in my bedroom. If
It's
1,000
not
people
like that
listen to
anymore.
it, that's what I'm saying.
You're like, I got a car payment.
Yeah.
got in the car note. But like, do you?
I cashed it out.
She just came in like with the LV bag and just
Yeah.
like dumped
Yeah.
out a bunch
I
of
think
cash.
this will be enough,
Yeah.
sir. Bag included. Now that,
But now that you have
Yeah.
a taste for or curiosity about these other things, does it change your relationship to like what you imagine success should look like from your day job?
I think this past year, like I've been to Noma, I've been to like all these fancy like Michelin star restaurants. I got the watch, I have the bag, I have all these like things, and it's honestly what it has done has made me freak out. I've had like I was in talking to my therapist, and I was like, I feel like I have one foot on the right and one on the left from a political side almost, because I was like, I'm a businesswoman, but all my values are left. I'm a lefty in the sense of like, I think we should have healthcare for everyone and all that stuff. Like, and especially from Norway, I'm kind of like very much a left person. So basically even what's right in Norway is still maybe considered left here in the US.
Probably true.
But-
Yes. Yes.
So not right and left in
Sure.
U.S. terms.
Sure.
It needs to make that very clear.
Yeah.
But in Norway, I've been like, I'm a fucking capitalist. Like, I'm a terrible person. Like, I'm definitely enjoying the private driver and the giant car outside. But I have a very immense feeling of guilt in a lot of these things too. So, but I definitely, I like the Italian lamp, and I
That's
like
right.
the nice
That's
painting, and I like
Step up your live auctioneers
right.
game.
I like nice things. So
And you're coming to terms with that.
I'm coming to terms with that, but also I have a girlfriend who has a complete different life than me, and she humbles me a lot, and I think that's really good. I'm really happy that I have like almost all my friends are either in school, unemployed, or like just figuring things out.
Right.
And I think that's also really good for me to be like, okay, Marie, your life is crazy. Also making me like realize how special this project is and why I'm pursuing music. But yeah, you know, entering the watch world, the bag world, like the food world, it's just, the world is just so, it's just so many things.
Is
So-
there also a difference between like Norwegian success and worldwide or American
Yeah,
success?
One matters, one doesn't.
No, but
Like,
in
have
the
you
sense
been,
of
do you feel
like,
like you've been Americanized in that way?
yeah,
that
like you could be the most
lust
popping
after?
artist in Norway and not feel subject to these whims necessarily, because within that country and the way that it views consumerism is maybe going to be different, but you've had a tremendous amount of success almost from the very beginning outside of Norway.
Yeah.
And that maybe is one of the things that's shaping this evolution.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, like in Norway, it's like I'm definitely perceived as one of the bigger artists in the country. But in the US, it's like I'm not the biggest country in this, I'm not the biggest country. I'm not the biggest artist here, but it's, so that's interesting. But I mean, maybe that's because sometimes I feel like I'm very worried about becoming entitled and being like, I should have all these things. I feel like I just need to like put both feet on the ground, stay humble. Yeah, but I don't know. I honestly don't know how things have shaped me and stuff. I should probably, that's another thing. I feel like my brain slowly and surely becoming a TikTok brain. Like my brain is mostly fried. And like, I feel like my sister and I, we kind of talked about this the other day, like how are we really like thinking? Are we like reflecting and kind of are we like concluding things? That's a word, right? Like, are we coming to new thoughts? Are we like actually summarizing things, or do we or is our mind as fractured, like small bits and pieces as much as like social media? So I have a lot of like my like my emotional side, financial side, brain literally losing its like I'm all over the place, man.
Well, you're 25. That's how you're supposed to be.
Given that you had a lot of early success on TikTok,
Yeah.
what do you feel about TikTok? Like when you engage with the app now, do you feel that, can you view it purely? Like I feel like once I started writing about TikTok for work, it became hard for me to just like scroll through and just be like, I'm having a blast. I'm da da da. Do you feel that because it was involved in your career so early, did it take away some of that pleasure? Or like you said, you met Pookie and Jett. Is there still some part of you that's just like, I can turn my brain off and I can just do that?
I mean, I definitely feel like I'm scrolling just because it kills time.
Yes, it
And
fills
just-
the space.
Like everyone
Yeah.
else.
Fills the
Yeah,
space.
so it's in that way it's normal. But also I do, when I view other artists promoting their music, I also think a lot about how other artists are, how we're all kind of in the same boat when it comes to like chasing a viral moment, and how some people just aren't on TikTok. But also then I saw like Adrian Lenker is on TikTok. I was like, when the coolest of the coolest indie folks start joining TikTok, I'm like, the world is fucking ending soon.
Yeah.
That's honestly what
Yeah, big theme on TikTok. It's a wrap.
It's a
for
quiet.
social media.
It's quiet.
Yeah, I definitely feel like
If Adrian Lenker and Taylor Swift are both making TikToks on the same day, it's like
Yeah.
we're at the end of it.
before that,
Before that,
we need
we're
to
gonna
do
eat a
some
Tik-
we need a
snack
TikTok
tasting.
snack. So you chose this from the presented snacks. Now, to be fair, the other presented snacks were probably more familiar from your region of the world. This is a TikTok adjacent thing. I saw it in Walgreens. So this is freeze-dried gummy bears. One thing that I feel on TikTok in the last 6 to 8 months is people are freezing things constantly.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I have no idea. I think they're freezing things because on TikTok Live, you're seeing the process. It feels, and then maybe there were some makers of products like this where they were selling things on TikTok Shop, in early TikTok Shop. This is the first like branded packaged
Yeah,
version.
I mean the packaging is offensive. So these are berry freeze-dried gummy bears, and it says "as seen on everywhere."
Great.
TM.
It says that?
Trademarked.
Oh,
that
wow.
phrase is trademarked, and then it says "influencer famous freeze-dried candy."
If you say so.
which is like
famous enough for Popcast Deluxe.
quite
so.
offensive
Man.
to me. This is.
I actually think
making
it's
me-
cool.
But
like
I
it.
don't see the
I like
gummy
it.
how
bear
it
shape.
looks, but like it also the I guess
Maybe when you freeze
freeze-dry
it,
them,
it kind of goes
Yeah.
the
like,
gummy bear pops. So they look like cereal balls, like Kicks.
Yeah.
Like a little
Okay.
bigger than
All right.
Kicks.
And so we give a
Milky
rating, and we're not scared. If it's a 1, it's a 1.
Yeah,
You know,
we're
it's 1 to 10.
what are we,
honest,
what's
honest
the 1 out of
reviews.
10? Is that the thing we're
1
doing?
out
Yeah,
of 10.
1 out of 10.
And-
Wait, you can do half. You can do halves.
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah,
of
you want.
rating,
You
know?
can do a pitchfork score if you want.
wait.
You have colors you're interested in?
You
Or
want a red?
have a-
Oh, I'm doing a blue. And
Oh yeah, we
this
need a
looks
girl in red.
grape.
There, grab a red.
Okay, I'm gonna do red.
Do you think they're
This is the
flavored
Norwegian-
differently?
Oh my god. This cannot be a gummy bear.
Gummy bears are flavored. Yeah, sometimes you
Okay.
just get a
This,
bunch of yellows.
to your point, this bears, no pun intended, no resemblance to a bear.
Yeah.
No,
Like this
But
could
it
be
shows
anything.
the process on the bag from a gummy bear to an exploded sphere.
Should we just try? I feel like this
First
is
of
gonna
all,
be some
smell first.
No smell.
No, this smells like synthetic oils of some kind.
Good. Wow.
The texture is like cereal. Like sugary cereal. Oh, not good.
Oh, I think I can like this. Wait.
Really?
Oh, the lemony one, when it all congeals, got real oily. Like real oily.
Is this the lemon one?
No, this one, I think. Do you want to try a lemon?
I don't like these. They taste like eating like Tang, but without the water. Like you're just like eating a mouthful of something that should be mixed in water. They crunch like cereal, and then it turns into disgusting powder. I don't like it at all.
Let me see the other flavors.
Kind of like I need
They're
to.
all yours.
I feel like they're fun to eat with intention, like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I would never snack on it.
Yeah, like you want
I
to
wanna,
like
like-
pop these in the van, right?
Yeah, I would not be happy if this was the only snack I had on a 10-hour flight.
This feels like a snack that you're designed to have an experience eating.
Yeah, right?
But it's not a flavor-driven snack, but it's more of a like,
But what is
Sound.
the experience? You're like,
it's
The
yeah.
crunchiness. It's like
It's literally like
because I
film.
kind of like
it's
now
literally
I
like
feel like
I'm
I
eating
wanna,
the gummy bear.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
literally
want to
that.
eat it again.
it's not enjoyable to me, even on an experience level.
I'm gonna go 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3.
I'm gonna go 3.
I'm gonna say it's like a 1. It's totally useless to me. It's not good. You like the stunt of it
I just
a little bit, enough to get a 3 out of.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, okay,
these are
okay.
failing
It's
scores.
'Cause I-
textural. It's a texture thing. It's
But-
not a taste thing. It's a texture thing.
You know what? I thought so. In Norway, we rate things like from 1 to 6 because we rate it
That
on
is,
a dice.
and on your song, it's 6 out of 6 at the end. I was wondering
Oh
about
yeah, your
that.
song is. How would you pronounce it? It's 6. It's
6 stars. So
Six
it's actually
stars.
that song is a 5-star song. So that's why it's so that's like the
Not quite 6.
yeah. So well when you rate something in stars, it's always 5 stars. But then in Norway, we rate things with a dice, and it's like if it's
Oh, so
really
it's
good,
6.
it's like 1. No, sorry. If it's really bad, it's 1, and then if it's really good, it's 6.
Okay.
And so when I said 3 now, I was thinking of 6.
Oh, so it's
I
5
think
out of
actually,
10.
I would actually say then I would go up to 4 out of 10. Wow.
okay.
Because I don't think it's that bad.
Okay. A slightly down ending to an otherwise great conversation. Thank you for being here, Marie.
Dude.
What
And
a joy.
dude.
Dude and dudes.
Dudettes.
Yes.
It's been really good.
I'm so blessed and really, really happy to see you after all these years. What a victory.
Still kicking it.
Still kicking it. Me too, frankly.
I mean,
All
we're
of
still
us.
alive, kicking it,
It's absolutely
eating
true.
crunchy, horrible candy.
Yeah, who would have thought
Next-
in 2019 that one day we'd be able to try a freeze-dried gummy bear
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. See you in 5 more years at Louis Vuitton, I assume.
Maybe before.
So just something casual, something light for the. I didn't even know this was unplanned. That's our show.
We all knew it's all planted. It's all. Yeah.
It's all spawn. Every Popcast ever is at nytimes.com/popcast, youtube.com/popcast. That is where you get us, me and Joe in the chairs. It's where you get Marie. It's where you get all our guests. tinyurl.com/popcast. Facebook is the Facebook group, or Popcast Discord is the Discord. There's a Zazzle. Go ahead and search Popcast on that. It's the shop. It's the Popcast on myshopify.com. That's where you get the stickers and the t-shirts. Email me at popcast@nytimes.com. We also got nominated. Did you know this? We got nominated for the iHeart Podcast Awards.
I saw that.
We got nominated for Best Music Podcast.
All right.
They'll probably be over
Wait,
by
is
the
that,
time this comes.
when?
That's like at South by Southwest is going to be.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got nominated.
guys.
So like, go ahead and vote for us. Guys, do that. Our senior producer is Sawyer Roque. Pat Gunther is here, man the board. Jamie Heffitz is our editor. Special thanks to Karen Gans and Elga Logley, Leslie Davis, Pedro Rosado. We'll be back next week.
That was true host energy.
I know.
Like everything you just said with all the